Fasted cardio.
Fasted cardio, unnecessary. If I could condense my knowledge of fitness and getting your peak physique into as few words as possible, here's my effort. Less is more. Don't focus on the minute details as to whether or not you should do fasted cardio or how many days a week should you be training and the amount of calories and yada yada yada. There's only a couple of things to focus on in order to get your peak physique, and that's consistency in the gym and under eating the amount of calories that you burn. Like, that's the real secret. And honestly, like, even if you're trying to get bigger, if you prioritize an adequate amount of protein and you do not go into a surplus with carbohydrates and fats, you will still achieve a fantastic physique over trying to, focus on like, okay, let me sacrifice my sleep in order to get up earlier to do fasted cardio because the internet tells me that fasted cardio is more effective than like fed cardio and all this other shit that's not really necessary. And, to be clear, even if fasted cardio does show some level of results, the difference between fasted and fed cardio is such a minuscule amount, it's like percentages, that it's better to optimize your sleep as opposed to sacrificing it in order to like chase after this basically made up ideas to, let me get my fasted cardio. If that answers your question.
Well, then there's also like people do like fasted, like they fast all day, like intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting isn't really good for bodybuilding, and the people that I'm looking to help are athletes. I'm definitely not making content for the average person. With that being said, intermittent fasting can help with weight loss, but that's just in relation to caloric restriction. So if you're fasting, 8 hours a day and then only eating in a small window, you could still go into a surplus if during that eating window you're eating more than you actually burn throughout the day. So again, we're getting into like kind of, guys are focusing on the wrong stuff. You just want to eat less and do more.
More.
There it is.
Eat
that
less,
sums it up.
Do more.
Eat less and do more. Eat enough where you feel properly nourished, you've got energy to move throughout the day, and use that energy. Exert it. Find yourself doing things that you enjoy doing, physical activities. Our bodies are made to move and be active and interact with the environment. That is your key to longevity and optimizing your health.
So it's talking about energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing 80 grams a day right now?
80 grams of carbs, yeah.
Of carbs a day.
Yeah.
And carbs, you need that for, your brain, plus your energy levels to get through workouts.
Yeah.
How are you so energetic right now? Is it just because you're so hyped for, like, this show where it's like fuck it, I'm like...
Honestly, that's a great question. I get a lot of energy from this project and this movement. And right now, we actually have a lot of momentum with this whole natural bodybuilding thing. I made a successful heel turn, is how I like to refer to it as, where I've been consistently making content for pretty much the past year now, telling the story of the rise of natural bodybuilding. And up until this week, I was presenting myself as, let's say, a baby face, if we're using WWE terminology. Super nice guy, very wholesome, very genuine and sweet and nice and shit like that. This past week, I'm just strictly using WWE terminology at this point, but I cut a promo where I basically did a shoot on the state of the fitness industry and natural bodybuilding, and I stated, basically, it's like, you guys have it so backwards. Like, the fitness industry is supposed to be all about health and wellness, yet you guys are glorifying enhanced athletes who are shortening their lifespan in order to compete in this sport.
Literally fucking dying.
Yeah, literally fucking dying. And you guys are propping these people up on pedestals as, like, the representatives of the fitness industry. That doesn't make any sense. And I basically... like, I'm being a lot more aggressive with, like, how I'm actually approaching this project, which is why I'm kind of referring to it as a heel turn. And through that, people are resonating more with me, which works. Like, that's obviously the intention. So it looks like I'm going to keep going in that direction, and like because of that momentum, that's probably where the energy is coming from. Because I'm very good at tracking trajectories, so
Yeah.
I see that this trajectory with the heel turn is going to prove more fruitful than just being the baby face that I was. But it's all very important. So the 11 months spent as a baby face was necessary before I make the heel turn, because it all kind of ties into the same narrative.
You gotta kind of be aggressive right now.
Yeah, you have to kind of create the foundation.
You're on offense, and you're done with defense.
Exactly. It's like people got to know me. I've been consistently making content. They have a familiarity with like who I am and my name and likeness, and now we get to attack. And I'm going to attack even harder, and it's just a matter of...
You're gonna press buttons, and you're gonna make people really upset.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already, I've already experienced small things when, someone's on my page, and when you post me and you like the stuff that we shoot, but then I'll talk about, I have some friends that are enhanced and they talk about it, but then I'll show them you and like Valley, and they're like, there's no way that they're just natural, and it's like, no, dude. One, they don't need to lie about it to be natural. They're not the Liver King, and then two, it's like they've been training for years, and they've been eating and doing it right nonstop. There's no breaks to it. They've just been on go, go.
Yeah.
Small break, go.
And someone needs to present the alternative to like the fucked up thing, and this is why I started this project in the first place, is that no one has a clear idea as to what the top natural physique can look like. No one even has that perception in their mind.
Just the enhance with sebum.
Yeah, that's all they know. Is like, okay, well, the best physique that you can possibly get is Chris Bumstead, and the way that he got that is through taking steroids. Well, what about the best physique that you can achieve naturally? There is no representative of that, and that's where I come in. That's where Valley Muscle comes in. We are here to set that standard and be that example for everyone, for the entire world to understand, okay, these guys have great genetics and they work hard. And this is the result of 2 + 2 =
5.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I feel like someone had to do it. No one was doing it. And the craziest part is, it's like natural bodybuilding has been around for as long as bodybuilding has, and no one has stepped up to the plate.
Well, it's like everybody that's been enhanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
They started natural.
Mm-hmm.
Sebum started that, and
So
he
he
actually
started natural?
looked better natural to me than he is. I mean, yes, he's a giant. Yes, his muscles are just massive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he looked better natural to me.
Yeah.
Yes, I get it. I get the point of what he did, but it's
Yeah.
like the natural look to me was just like, damn, why did you go so hard? I mean, like you're like 3 times your size.
Yeah.
But that's just not your muscles. Your heart, your liver, your kidneys.
Mm-hmm. They're also,
and Sebum's not talking about that. I guarantee there's some underlying thing going on where he had to retire.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
That's just my thinking, though.
Yeah.
It's just like, well,
And we've been,
because steroids, is the same thing as you can't get rid of fat in one spot.
Right.
Steroids aren't going to just pump up one muscle.
Right.
They're going to go pump up all your muscle. And guess what's a muscle? Your heart, your liver, stuff like your organs. I mean, they're all part of they all run with your muscles. Your heart is a muscle, and most people that die from enhanced steroids, their heart's 3-4 times the size.
Yeah. And we've made it a very clear point not to target people that take steroids or the drug itself.
No targeting.
But I do question.
You got to point it out, though.
I just question where the motivation comes from to take steroids, and I don't want to step into that pool of conversation.
And that's where we should meet people, or especially you and Valley. You guys need to go and meet these enhanced athletes. Maybe not, more famous ones, or whoever you can talk to that wants to talk to about it and be open more.
Yeah,
where it's ask those questions. What made you want to do this?
All right, so if it's just a bodybuilder, right? I think they got into the sport because Arnold Schwarzenegger is a role model and icon, and they want to emulate that person. That's one reason. For two, they may have fallen in love with the spirit and the practice, the consistency of bodybuilding. And as a result of those two factors, they feel that they have to take steroids in order to be competitive, because the top bodybuilders are also taking steroids. So if you want to compete against them, you now have to take steroids. And that's potentially a big reason why a lot of people are taking steroids. Now, For the individuals who have no aspirations of being a Mr. Olympia and they're just taking steroids because they want to look bigger, that's an insecurity, my friend.
And be stronger.
You are insecure about your body, and that's not an external issue, that is an internal issue. You need to check in with yourself and assess what is going on with what's going on the inside to better understand why you feel the need to enhance your physical appearance in an unnatural way. Because you will feel better and healthier if you pursue the best version of yourself without the use of enhancements. Because again, it's an internal struggle that you're battling with, and steroids are not going to be the solution to what's going on internally.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right, bro. As the producer of this film, what has been your biggest challenge in shaping the project to fully represent your vision for natural bodybuilding?
The biggest challenge has been limited resources. And my way of addressing that challenge, for one, filmmaking is my primary passion, and being able to effectively tell great stories. So I'm 33 now, and I got into this whole craft 12, maybe 15 years ago. Dating back then, I always wanted to tell stories that were within my range of resources. So if I wrote a movie script and I presented it to my colleagues and people that I worked with, the script would be in relation to what we could actually shoot. So it's like the entire screenplay is occurring in a house, and this house is owned by one of our parents or some shit like that. So we actually have everything that we need to film this particular project. Whereas the friends that I was working with, if they put a screenplay together, all of a sudden there's like 20 different set locations, and one of them is in Las Vegas, and the next one's on the moon or some shit like that. And I'm thinking, how are we going to get the resources to shoot that? So it's always been very important to me to shoot within the means of my personal resources. So when it comes to this project, it's the same thing. It's like I have limited resources, so I'm learning how to adapt and tell the story with the resources that are at my disposal.
Nice. All right, bro. What inspired you to take on the role of both athlete and producer, balancing two major responsibilities in the lead up to these competitions?
All right, what inspired me to take on the role of athlete and producer?
You want to be the best.
Yeah, that's a good question. Producing is the thing that I am most passionate about. It's the skill that I feel like is going to help me make the biggest impact on the planet. Being an athlete is not something I ever anticipated. I did sports very briefly in middle school and high school. I wrestled up into my freshman year. And up until this point, it was always about experiencing life in as effortless a way as possible. This opportunity to actually experience the best version of myself and peak my physique to the best of my ability presented an opportunity to experience what effort feels like, and the changes that are occurring mentally is actually incredibly rewarding. And also, I've always known that I had a great physique, so discovering how nutrition and commitment to working out and all that shit can positively affect my physique was a game changer. So then once I saw the what could be the finished product, it was no longer a question. I am here to make an impact on the planet, and it's not just film, it's not just storytelling, it's not just bodybuilding, it's whatever I have the ability to exceed at, that is what I have to do. And that's what I encourage everyone to do. If you have a talent, if you have potential in anything, you need to invest relentlessly in that thing, because that's what you are here on this earth to do. And you will get the best experience of life through the pursuit of your own potential and actualizing it. In my personal opinion, you get to make the most contributions to society, and you get to experience an adventure of life through the evolution of your own person.
Very well said, bro. All right, man. What drives you to push for this movement in natural bodybuilding? especially when the industry still largely favors enhanced athletes?
What drives me to push for this movement in natural bodybuilding? Just because things are a certain way doesn't mean that they have to remain that way. And I feel like what a lot of people don't understand in relation to this movement and in relation to a lot of other things is that most people think that all the cool shit has already happened, that the greatest cities have already been built, that the greatest feats of accomplishment have already occurred in the past by someone else. And it is my intention to empower each individual with the concept that the greatest story has yet to be told. The greatest city has yet to be built, and you could be the one to build it. That's what this movement is all about, is that the potential within yourself has the opportunity to like create something that hasn't ever been done before. So I don't have to concern myself with what the current state of the fitness industry is, because by the time that I'm done, it will be different through willpower,
Ambition.
knowing that you can actually make a change and not being intimidated by the fact that no one's thought of it before.
Nice. All right, bro. How does it feel to be one of the central figures bringing natural bodybuilding into the spotlight?
How does it feel to be one of the central figures bringing natural bodybuilding into the spotlight? Honestly, this is just one of many impacts that I will be bringing to the world. To me, this is just an entry point. Natural bodybuilding is just phase one of a very long process of making the world a healthier and more fulfilled, a more realized place where individuals are walking around knowing that they are capable of achieving great things. So this is just step one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. What moment from this past year would you say shifted your perspective on what's possible for this sport and this project?
Wow. What moment in this past year has shifted my perspective on what's possible for this sport? That's a good question. You know what? I figured out that the naysayers are the people who don't really, they haven't met me. Like, they're the ones on the internet seeing my content, and they understand what the message is, and they're like, oh, you can't do it. But the people that I interact with, whether they're enhanced or not, they meet me and they understand that it's through genuine intention and clear vision that anything gets to be achieved. And it's that level of understanding that gives me the understanding that, like, this is easy. It's really just simple. It's having a clear vision and then having the courage to see that vision through. And you don't really have to worry so much about whether or not you're going to fail or succeed, because you don't stop until you do succeed. So it's just interacting with people and getting the message across and seeing how they register, like, oh, yeah, Shaun Fury is going to become the greatest natural bodybuilder of all time, and he's going to tell a story while doing so, and it's going to be fucking great.
Love it. How do you feel this documentary will add to the history and legacy of natural bodybuilding?
How do I feel this documentary will add to the history and legacy of natural bodybuilding? I think this is the history of natural bodybuilding. I think this is the beginning of the legacy for natural bodybuilding, in the same way that pumping iron was the beginning of the legacy for enhanced bodybuilding. This is the starting off point. Prior to this year and prior to this project and this movement, natural bodybuilding did not exist. Natural bodybuilders had no value. We are creating the value for these athletes so that by the time that this film comes out and by the time that my career is done, we will have stars within the natural bodybuilding community that can continue to carry the torch and actually be advocates for the sport after I'm retired.
All right. When you look at the competitors around you, what do you see as the missing piece that this film will bring to the natural bodybuilding world?
When I look at the competitors around me, what do I think is missing that I would actually elevate the sport? Man, personality. Personality, intention, clarity of vision. I kind of said it in a past thing, but natural bodybuilders, they're not focused on glory. They're not focused on bringing awareness to the sport. They're really just focused on achieving their personal best, which is cool. And I honestly relate natural bodybuilding more to a martial art than an actual sport, where the whole purpose of natural bodybuilding is for the discipline and commitment that is required to achieve great results. It's a sport about longevity. So if you stay in it for 10, 20 years, you get to become ingrained in the methodology and the practice of honing your body to a level that is admirable over the course of decades. But you're not doing anything to spread that awareness. So, like I said, it's intention and it's lack of, like, you guys are just boring. It's like,
Have some character.
yeah, you guys got no character. I'm sorry to say it. It's not even a shot at you guys. It's just that the sport needed a star, and it didn't have any. It's kind of like, I'm using a lot of WWE references these days. If The Rock wasn't around, then who would be the guy? Like, every sport needs a guy. Michael Jordan was the guy for NBA. Fucking Tom Brady was the guy for NFL. I'm the guy for natural bodybuilding. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the guy for enhanced bodybuilding. Every sport needs somebody to actually bring it. And again, shout out to Valley Muscle, who's not here. He's also the guy. But, like, they need to exist. Otherwise, nobody gives a shit. It's not about the sport. It's about the representation of the sport.
All right. All right, bro. How do you want the audience to feel after watching this documentary? What's the main takeaway you're aiming for?
What's the main takeaway I want the audience to walk away with after watching this documentary? This is not a documentary about bodybuilding. This is not a documentary about the sport and raising awareness between natural and enhanced. This is a project about achieving your full potential and believing in yourself, believing that changes can occur just from giving yourself into the process that's required in order to actually see it. So if I can have an audience member take away anything, it's that you can do great things with your life if you just believe. And I know it's cliche and it's been said 1,000 times, but I'm this generation's motivational speaker, as you will, to just get that message across, because it has to be said at least every couple of decades, if not every couple of years. You can do it if you just believe in yourself, and you have limitless potential. I'm just a guy, and I saw a vacancy. I saw an opportunity to make a change, and that's all I'm doing.
All right. That's a wrap.
Cool.